Hi and welcome to my channel. Libertatem videos explore the issues that can affect your life, and today I want to talk to you about Jezebel spirits. In a previous video, I talked about how rejection can affect our behavior and cause us to have spiritual issues. And one of the spirits I actually named within that video was the Jezebel spirit. And the reason why I want to do this quick standalone video about the Jezebel spirit is because it's so very common, yet so very dangerous. And it's dangerous because, much like narcissistic personality disorder, people who are afflicted by Jezebel spirits don't always recognize it. So it's hard to address if you don't know what you have going on with yourself. I want to talk a little bit about the origins of the name, because there is so many lovely people out there called Jezebel. And although the Bible does mention a lot about evil spirits and, territorial spirits and just, Satan himself, it doesn't actually name a spirit called Jezebel. What it does do in the book of Kings is it talks about the story of a lady called Jezebel, and the way that she used seduction, domination, control, intimidation, and manipulation to get her own way, destroying many lives in the process. And the reason why that name was given to, I guess, a group of spirits that come under Jezebel spirits is because similar behavior traits are there. So I just want to name them again. So you've got domination, manipulation, control, intimidation, sexual immorality, and seduction. If I've forgotten any, I'll put them back up on the screen. But those are the core, I guess, characteristics of a Jezebel spirit. The Jezebel spirit or Jezebel spirits, they don't just affect women. Men can be affected too, and they are. And they don't just affect a particular people group or culture. Anyone can be affected, and it can come into people's lives through a number of different ways. It could be a generational issue, just something that has been passed along, a spiritual line, or it could be after emotional trauma or an extremely fearful event or rejection. Just anything that could have caused us to develop ungodly behavior traits and bad coping strategies that open the door to the Jezebel spirits and other evil influences. In my opinion, fear is the main driving force that can keep the Jezebel spirit active in a person's life. In a way, it kind of keeps that door open. And that could be a fear of rejection, a fear of not being in control, and a fear of losing those things, which makes a person feel affirmed and secure. So in order to protect that, they're willing to do whatever it takes. And that could involve intimidation, manipulation, control, dominating others, destroying people in the process, but feeling very justified in doing so. And that is why the Jezebel spirit is very dangerous. And I want to explain a little bit more about that. It's dangerous, and the reason why people can feel justified is because it partners with a victim spirit and a victim mentality. And that is another way that it can come in. In the beginning, I mentioned a way that it can come into a person's life is through, emotional trauma or rejection or whatever it is. If a person has been a victim, through emotional trauma or whatever the traumatic event in their life was, they may have developed coping strategies to protect themselves without realizing that those coping strategies are actually destroying other people in the process. So they can feel very justified in their actions. And this is a very Jezebelic spiritual trait or behavior trait. And it hides, and it's very dangerous. And even when there isn't a victim spirit operating there, it can still be quite dangerous and hard for people who are under the influence of Jezebel spirits to recognize, because they can be so deceived. It really does appeal to the lust of the flesh, and it wires people in and makes them feel like they are doing what's right to empower themselves and get ahead in life. So that is, I guess, the Jezebel spirit, the nature of it in a nutshell, and how it can come into someone's life. I wanted to keep this video really short and sweet and just kind of touch on it. Obviously there's so much more to it. You can go and read the story of Jezebel in the book of Kings 1 and 2, and also you can do your own research, but I just wanted to touch on it today because I mentioned it before without going very deep into it. And also, you know, if anything I've said, if you recognize it in others, please don't go finger pointing and, you know, bashing them or slandering them. Rather just go away and pray for them. And if you recognize it in yourself, then my heart really does go out to you, because personally, you know, I'm not ashamed to say that I've had to deal with Jezebelic behavior traits and spiritual issues in my own life, and it was difficult for me to see, because indeed I was a victim. In my life, it came in through there was abuse, and there was also very false early responsibility, which made me not feel safe in situations where I was not in control, because I was so used to being in control and being in charge of everyone around me and everything, and that is where I felt safe. You know, thankfully through prayer and through understanding and just through teaching and time with God, I was able to get that sorted. But it is a very, very stubborn spirit. It tries to come back. You know, it tries to come back to where it left, and it tries to reestablish a stronghold in a person's life. And so renewing of the mind does take time, and in my case it did take time. And even so, often every now and then I still need to question certain things that I do, where I feel like I'm trying to control a situation again. I have to step back and remind myself and repent, you know, and say, Lord, I'm sorry. I don't need to stay in complete control of absolutely everything all the time, because I've given my life to you and you are in control. So if anything I have shared resonated with you and you feel you may have that in your life, I think one thing that's really important to do is to try and get somebody to pray with you. And it may involve more than one prayer session. Reason being is because even though it may have come into your life in one way, there could have been many things that were done off the back of that would have reinforced its access in your life. So your prayer time may involve like somebody sitting with you and praying with you to kind of work through things backwards at the root causes, so that you can live out your life in freedom. I can't do all of that in this video today. I usually have prayers and videos, but I will put a prayer that will get you started in the description below. Okay, so this is my first video after a long time away, so forgive me if I'm a bit rusty. I wanted to keep it short and sweet. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. I hope you have found this video useful, you know, and also you can go away and do your own research like I said. Thank you so very much for watching. It's been a pleasure sharing with you. Take care. God bless you. Bye.